Hi, welcome to the Joy of Stamping with Rachel. I'm Rachel Coon, and today's Wednesday's kit class, and we are using the ridiculously awesome stamp set, and I'm teaching you how to make 3 different cards out of strips of paper. Get in a hold while I flip, and we'll get this stamping started. All right, let's get this locked in place, and we'll be ready. Like I said, we are making cards with the ridiculously awesome stamp set, which is a great set full of fancy fonts and awesome sayings. We're going to use a couple of these today. The Make Today Ridiculously Awesome. We're going to do the Let Your Faith Be Bigger Than Your Fear and P.S. I Love You. But you can use any of these and that would be perfect. As you guys know, my Wednesday's kit class includes cards that I will make up as a kit, and if you order online using the hostess code, you will get these cards in a kit from me when you spend $35 worth, and by Friday at 4. So that's how that will work. Let me know if anyone's interested or is going to try to order this week. Let me go ahead and show you each card. We have this one right here. It says Make Today Ridiculously Awesome. And then we have this one right here, which I love. It has the stripes going down. That was our diagonal one here. And this one's called, or referred to as the mosaic style, which is kind of cool and looks kind of scary, but it's not as hard as it looks. Let me go ahead and show you how to make each one, starting from the easiest to the hardest. So we're going to do this one right here. First, though, we're going to grab my silicone craft mat. That is one of the items I would highly suggest having when you are making your kit. Also, I want to show you the dies that we are using today come from the Hippo Happiness right in here, the Hippo and Friends dies. So this one not only has dies that match their shapes for the stamp set, but it has all these beautiful label dies. So we're using a couple of those for today's kit. And then let's get this out. All right. So you can see I have 3 different colors. It's the Just Jade, the Bumblebee, and the Basic Gray. Let me get out my Post-it notes so we have everything. And we'll get out our card base. I'm doing a regular style card base, which is that 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. We'll set that aside. We don't need that right away. I have 2 pieces of the Whisper White and the exact same size. That's the 3 3/4 by 5, but we're going to cut one down later to 4. Oh, hold on. I'll have to look at that size. I think it's, there we go, 4 7/8 by 3 5/8. There we go. So we'll use this one first, and then we need to stamp our saying. Here is our label we're going to use. Let me go ahead and stamp that for you guys. This is a big stamp. So you can see I'm using this really big block today for it. And this is a cling one, so we can see where we're stamping on that clear block. And it does cling really, really well. All right, let me go and ink up this one. We'll stamp our saying, just like that. Looks awesome. We'll set that aside to dry and we'll get ready for our next part. So our stamping's done and we will put this away. All right. So I have these strips of paper that I've already cut to show you guys in the 3 different colors. And they are 7 inches by 3 1/4. So not quite an inch in length. For this card, what we're going to do is glue them down on a diagonal. And these ones we're going to glue right by each other. So they're super close together and they have no gaps in between. So we're going to go ahead and start with any color. We'll go ahead and start with this one. What I usually do first is I line them up. So I kind of have an idea where I want them to be. And I'll just do alternating colors. And there's going to be a lot of cut off later. But don't worry. There's this one, and then we need our yellow again, and our Just Jade, and then we end it with that basic gray right there. Okay, that should be pretty good, and that gives me an idea of what I'm going to need. So then we'll flip this one over, and I'm not going to put glue to this part. I'm going to put glue, my Tombow glue in fact, because it's liquid glue and it has the wiggle right here to this corner. And I have it underneath my silicone mat because it will get squishy and probably make a mess. This one, when I used it before, I would use it so I'd have some leftovers because I made multiples of these for one Manly Monday. And you just go like that at that angle and hold it down. And the same thing next. We'll just do a squiggle line on that one. And get our basic gray. Make sure that looks, yeah. Our basic gray in there really nice and tight. And you can do this at any angle or degree. I just kind of go along with the paper at that angle. We'll scoot this one over. Oh, I pushed all of those aside. That's okay. Just make sure it's nice and tight against there. Again, glue to paper. Put that lid on. And you kind of see I missed a spot right there, so I might need to add some more glue to this corner, just a little bit. But sometimes I could squish it and it'll come down. All right, the next one's that gray. Make sure they get these corners really good. So in fact, I'm gonna lift up this one right there. There we go. I feel better about that now. And put it right like this. This stamp set is actually a $1 million seller stamp set design. And Sarah Douglas, the CEO's husband, helped design it. He has an awesome penmanship and helped write out the font for this, which is pretty cool that Bennett can do that. All right, so now we have the yellow. And we're almost done. We'll do our Just Jade again. Right there. And we'll get this basic gray. This doesn't take too long. And I have a little corner right there. But we'll see if that gets cut off or not. All right. Now it's going to be the messy side on the back. Look how crazy that looks. You can either take this to your paper trimmer and trim it on down, or if you have glue scissors that you use only for things with gluey, sticky stuff, that is what I suggest doing. And you just go along your edges here. Scissors catch it, and all these pieces will fall. Just like that. Keep it going. Like I said, when I made multiples of these, I kept some of these pieces here and used them on the next cards that I would make. Keep that one going. I see we have a couple people here. Thanks for joining. It is really hot in California today, and I might end up turning my fan back on even though it's really loud, just so that I don't sweat all over these cards. It is that hot. I think my bedroom upstairs was reading at 84 degrees inside. Oh, we usually have beautiful winds here, but every so often it gets nice and hot. All right, let me pick up some of our messes here and set them aside. And you see I have that little piece that's missing right there, so I might add one of those pieces here in just a second. But we're going to trim this down one more time. So I'm going to grab my paper trimmer in, and I told you those measurements were just a little bit, so that's that 4 7/8 right up here, which is just after. Here we go. We'll trim that off that side, and then we will also do that to this top side here. And that one is 3 5/8. So I'm going to go over to my 3 1/2, and then I'm going to go 2 dashes above. and trim off this side as well. And let's see if I did it. Oh, nice. I got rid of that white spot. Perfect. All right, set this aside. We'll bring it back in a minute. And next, we just need to mount it to our Whisper White using some liquid glue again. Just like that. Oh, Christine says it was windy and chilly in Illinois. Oh, I believe it. You guys are having fall weather. That's how it's supposed to be, right? September, almost October. Can't believe it's October tomorrow, which is an exciting month. October is a very exciting month. There's so much going on. All right, we're going to put dimensionals on both of these to pop it up on this card. I'll just put some on the back here. And some on this one. Let's go kind of like that. And we'll get our card base back in the scene. And we'll take those off. And when you do this, you just kind of eyeball it. I kind of hover over the card base before I push it all the way down. You know me, I usually like to have that wiggle room with the liquid glue. So dimensionals, you got to do a little bit of hovering over. And we'll get our Make Today Ridiculously Awesome. And put that just about the center. Let's grab our bone folder to help us with this crease. There we go. And we have 2 diagonal strippy cards. Isn't that fun? Super easy. And you could do this with any color. And it looks great because it goes into these corners so nicely. I love it. All right, the next card we're going to do is this fun one right here. And if you've ever met or have heard of Kylie and Bruno Bertucci, they came up with this technique called the stripy strip technique. And it is so fun and easy, but it does take a little bit of effort. So let me get all of our pieces ready for it and tell you how we make it. Same color scheme that we're doing. We're just changing the card base out to be the bumblebee instead. And these pieces that I have are a lot smaller, these strips, than the other one. And really, there's not much measuring to these ones at all. I'm using that exact same Whisper White measurement as I did before, which was that 3 3/4 by 5 on both of those. And I'll do the exact same thing where I cut one down just a little bit smaller and I mount it to the other one. All right, and I have already gone ahead and I've heat embossed our white embossing powder to make the stain. I really like white embossing powder on grays, and I think it just makes it stand out really nicely. So that one I already did. If you have questions about how to heat emboss, I would love to answer them, but I didn't want to take our time today to do it. So, all right, let me get out my paper trimmer and show you how we cut these pieces. So I have a piece of 5.5 by 8. I wrote it down there so I wouldn't forget a piece of paper. And then what we do is we're going to put it into here from top to bottom, doesn't matter. And you can start with a straight edge, but I'm going to start to then move my paper. So that'd be one right there. And then I would just take this up a little bit and I would push it and I would move it. And I moved it more on the bottom than I did at the top because I don't want them to be straight. And then I just move it, shimmy it, and I'm not measuring. I don't want them to be super thick. And so I have it at least smaller than 1/2 inch. And look how this is happening. Doesn't that look so cool? So these are the styles from this one. They are more not measured, and we have big bottoms and small tops and big tops and small bottoms. You see how that kind of works out? It makes it a lot more fun, and you don't have to measure, which is also a bonus. All right, so I have the rest of our strips ready to go. Let me go ahead and get out our piece of Whisper White. And we're going to start gluing. You guys have a drink or something, this would be a good time to grab it. No, we're just kidding. It's totally up to you. This won't take too long, but let me just show you how it works. There's two ways you can glue on your strips on this one. You can go and just put it like I was doing earlier, putting it straight to the paper. Just like that, and we would flip it and put it on. There we go. This one, I want to make sure that I do leave a gap in between each strip. So just keep that in mind as you're going. And then, or what you could do is you could lay your piece out, and then you're going to measure it from using it from this white space to the white space over here. So I'd do my glue and I'd stop, and then I would flip it. And that gives me kind of an idea of where to glue it. Your method is totally up to you. I'm kind of a speedy, fast girl, and I like to have it right on there. And I'm going to put these on all crazy ways and angles, and even, look at the skinny guy. I'm going to throw him in there even. Oh, look, I went rogue, and I did it directly on the strip. That's okay. All right, next I need my gray. And sometimes I want to flip it, so I want some big pieces on the top and vice versa. We'll put some glue on here. And just keep on building this as you go. Changing colors. If you have lots of colors, you can change it up, and there doesn't have to be a specific pattern. If you had DSP, it would look really awesome as well. So we'll go that way, this one. And just forming those gaps. Let's get this. Let's see if I can find a thick one maybe. This guy was pretty good. I'll put this one right here. I'm going to flip it so it's going to go that way, so that thicker side, so it's alternating. Thick on this side, thick on that side. Go right there. I'm almost done. You guys are doing awesome. Oh, thanks, Ashley. She says it's a lovely card. They're so fun. And I'm telling you, Bruno and Kylie were the ones that started this. I think there's even a hashtag you can use when you make a card and you share it with this one. Let's get a big, thick gray one in here for our last one. The very edge, like that. And in the real world, I would have this dry a lot more. I mean, that wiggle room has a little bit, it's a little bit dry. You could take it to your trimmer and cut off your edges, or you can go with your paper snips and cut them off as well. Paper scissors. These glue ones are good because I wash them all the time. Oops, see, that one's a little bit wet still. So we're just going to press it down. Make sure our glue is going to stick on there. I'll come back to that side in just a second. We'll finish cutting on this side. And then we're going to make this one smaller, just like we did with our diagonal one. Put it back into our trimmer. All right. Let me set this aside real quick. Put my glue lid back on. It's a messy, messy technique. You see everything right over here. But it makes a lot. So this is a great one you could do to mass produce. All right, let's get this in the view so you can see again. We're going to go for this one. It is at 4 7/8. So right up here. And we're going to cut that whole part off right there. Then I'm going to pick a side, doesn't matter which one, and cut off a top or a bottom. We'll do this one, and that was 3 5/8. So we go to 3 3/4, and then I go back just a little bit. Measuring has always been really hard for me to remember where things would go. And so I've tried really hard, and I have like a little printout ruler image that I refer to often. All right, flip that over. And that's looking pretty cool, right? I love how like tribal it looks almost, or fruity or fun. All right, let's go ahead and put this to our Whisper White over here. That's just a slightly bit bigger, and this just helps frame it nicely. A lot of the ones that I've seen made with this technique usually use the basic black as a background. I wanted this to be a little bit brighter and friendlier, and so I've used that Whisper White as my backdropping for this one. All right, so you could, on this kit, either pop it up right now with the dimensionals or glue it down flat. I'm going to glue it down flat this time. Get that on there, and we'll flip it. And lay it down, and then we'll grab our seine, sorry, excuse my arm, and grab our dimensionals to pop that one up. And we will put 3 on there and stick it right there. I love it. This one's such a fun one. All right, so now we have 2 of the strippy paper. You see that one really well? Cards. I love it. Is that fun? So the diagonals, and then we have the straight up and down strippies, and then next is our mosaic. Well, let me get these strips out of the way a little bit. And this one, you could use the strips just like these ones if you wanted to and make them all crazy and not measured. I did measure mine just a little bit. Okay, a lot of it. All right, so there's our card base. We're using the Just Jade. We'll get the card back in view so you can see what it looks like. There we go. This is the P.S. I love you, which I love that saying. It's so cute. So I have a Just Jade card base and our strips right here. We dump those out. I've also pre-stamped and embossed the P.S. I love you, and it's on that fun label from those Hippo and Friends dies. And we have our 2 pieces of Whisper White, which is just the exact same size of our other 2. Crazy, huh? Trying to make it simple for you guys. And then in your kit, you will get a longer piece of Whisper White that's about 4.5 by about 7.5. And this is where we will do our first gluing. However, knowing that it would take a while, I went ahead and got started on that. And let me show you what it looks like. So, like this. So we also want those gaps again for this one. And then we also will keep on going with to finish it with these pieces of paper. These ones are, I think they're 1/2 inch by, I had to have it longer than this one, so I think 5.5. But I will double check that measurement for you guys. I know I'll have it up on my blog. It'll be accurate. So let me finish the gluing of this one. And go like that. We'll get our gray. Like that. And I'm going to call that probably good. Okay, ready for the fun part. Let me take our silicone sheet out just for a hot second and get our paper trimmer back in. Our paper trimmer has been busy today. I know. We're putting it hard to work. All right. So first what I would do would trim off all these pieces on the ends. I don't need those. So I'm going to just trim those off real fast. And do that to the same over here. Just get those ones out of the way. There we go. All right. Next, the fun part. We are going to cut these going parallel to what our lines are going that way. So we have all these strips glued on here, and now we're going to go parallel. That's a fun word. Kind of like a T. So here's it this way, and now we're going to go down. And this one I cut at about, I think it says like the 1 centimeter on my trimmer here. Doesn't need to be super thick or anything like that. But we're just going to go through and cut it down. And there's 1. And we'll keep it going. And it doesn't have to be exact. You can have it, again, not measured like the last one we just did. Just kind of crazy angles even if you wanted. I'm going to try to keep mine a little bit straight. we're not too worried. Almost there. This will make about 11 is what your goal is to be to get these strips to go. And you can see I have them really long, and you'll see why in just a second. I want a little bit thicker. So we can get this one a little bit smaller. There we go. Just cutting them. I'll go back up. Sorry, I know it's super shaky. And we'll probably get one more out of that one. We'll see if we can use this one or not. I might have to, well, let's see. Trim it down just a little bit more. Maybe go halfies on it. There we go. Okay. So now we have all of our fancy strips. And see, sometimes they're not glued on as well, so I'll put those aside and glue them as needed. And those will fall off. All right, let's get our silicone craft sheet back in here to keep our workspace safe. And let's get our piece of white back in here. And I'm going to actually turn it this way and work that way. And how we're going to lay them is we'll start from this side and work way over. And you're going to want to just move it up so that way you don't have same colors by same colors. And just keep that space going that you had from the last one. So this is a lot like the last card, but we're just adding this next step where we're cutting it again. Go like that. Put this on the very edge of it. And then we'll get ready for our next one. And we want it to be just like that. So not right by each other, the matching colors, just a little bit off. And by me having it go up or down or flipping it the other way, it helps change the color pattern. Let's get this guy in here. And we'll just shimmy him that way a little bit. Ooh, it's coming together. I can kind of see how it looks like tiles or a mosaic as these pieces are pieced together to make another image. Okay, let's flip this one. Maybe put it just like that. There we go. There is, like I said, no rhyme or reason. Just get your fun, whatever looks good to you and fun, appealing to your eyes. Look at this thick one. Putting that one in here. Super thick. Get the next one going. And this one I did a little bit at an angle, so I'm making a different gap size, which is fun. Get some more. All right, I know you guys are being so patient and watching me glue these on, but it's kind of fun to see how it comes together, right? These ones, let's see, a couple more left. And we'll go like this for that guy. And we'll throw this one in here. Like that. And then I have this guy left, and some of his fell off there, so I think I'm trying to get it so his is on this side as much as I can. You guys can still see that. So this is the mosaic one. A little bit different. Pretty fun. And Kylie and Bruno's masterminds. I think she gave credit to someone else for this one, and I'm not sure who it was. And we flip it over and it looks crazy. So we're going to take our scissors again and trim our edges. When I trimmed all these off the first time, I was like, no, those pieces are so pretty. What a waste. Because all of these pieces still have all those little cute squares on them. So let me show you what I did with some of these pieces. Here, just a second. That one's coming up on that side. You might need more glue. There we go. And then we'll cut it down on this side. All right, we're almost there. See all these pieces that are coming off that I'm thinking, oh, there's so many little pieces. Look at that, so much. So look what I did. I got a 2x2 square of paper and I put them on there and made this tiny little mini card. I don't know what I want to do with it yet. I might put like a little thanks right here or something. But it's so cute and I got to use my scraps of my scrappy paper. Oh my goodness. Waste not, right? And it's a whole other card idea. So these ones I will set aside and I will use on something else. All right, so we just need to trim this one down so it looks nice and clean. And it's that same measurement. So I'm going to flip it over though when I do it. This one I want to make sure this cuts off on this edge because it's going over. And this one was that 4 7/8. So line it up and press down really hard for this one because we have lots of layers of paper now. Pull that away. Nice. And then I'll just pick a side, either that side or that side, it doesn't matter. And I'll go to my 3 5/8. So I'm going to go 3 3/4. Go back just a smidge and trim. Whew, there we go. Let's flip it over. Some of those pieces are stuck. There we go. And look how awesome that looks. Isn't that so pretty? Pretty cool. I love it. Looks like bathroom tile almost, or kitchen tile. I guess it depends on what color you pick. It could be almost anything. All right, let's glue this on to our Whisper White matting. And you'll see sometimes that you will lose a piece. Let's get that nice lined up a little bit. I lost the piece of yellow, so I'm going to put it back on right here. Oh, that was too much glue. We're going to get sticky. It's okay, we're almost done, so I could be sticky now. All right, and this one I actually did put dimensionals on the back to pop it up. I felt like it gave more of that 3D effect that we want from this mosaic look. But you could do whatever you want with your kit. We'll put those on, and then we also need to put them on our PS I Love You. So hover over it and push down. And did I lose my PS I Love You? Oh, I found it. All right, dimensionals on the back of this one as well. And then we'll be almost done. All right, and this can go center. It can go any spot you like. I tend to like to have my bottom right. I did that question a couple weeks ago, which one you prefer. And I'm definitely a bottom right girl. All right, I'm gonna grab my bone folder and get that edge. And we have 2 mosaic cards that say PS I Love You. We have 2 of just the stripey cards with the Let Your Faith Be Bigger Than Your Fear. And we have 2 of our Make Today Ridiculously Awesome with our diagonal cards. I hope you guys had a great time learning how to make these today and trying to make them yourself. They're super fun and not as hard as you thought. Have a great week. Stay cool or hot wherever you may be. And happy stamping, everyone. Goodbye.